Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Dubai Sevens. This one, the grand final between New Zealand and Australia. Now, we have just witnessed the women's final between these two sides as well. That one was won by the Kiwis, and now the New Zealanders here wanting to go undefeated throughout the first leg of the Sevens circuit. But looking through at the starting lineup, it is Sione Molia, Tony Shu, Dylan Collier, Sophie Natoa Tipo, Brady Rush, who did manage to have a very strong game in the semi-final up against the Fijians, Akulia Roka Lesoa, and also Frank Vainuku, the last man. And the starting side for the Australians, it is Dietrich Roach, Maurice Longbottom, Josh Turner, Wallace Charlie, who does look like a really bright prospect for this Aussie side, Jaden Blake, Aidan Akanayaki, and then also Henry Hutchinson, the captain there as well. We have got there, go the All Blacks, make it 2 from 2, says Purple Dragon Universe, and also URC Cardiff versus Ospreys at 4:45. Kickoff, says DJ. And there too, but George Selwood, he will be the referee in charge of this one. I will also mention that I am going to be on the manual scoreboard for this match, which does mean at times I might be slightly behind, but we will catch up, of course, hopefully eventually. But ready to go. Australia, they are going to be kicking this one off from left to right. Ball has been handed on to the field. The child has got a Springboks rugby kit as well as he makes his way off of the park, getting ready to go for this final though, Australia and New Zealand. Do let me know, of course, who you think will be able to win this matchup. Can New Zealand do the double, or will the Australian men's side? In the last match these two sides played, they were very close. Perhaps they can get over the line in this one. But Maurice Longbottom kicking us off, and we are ready to go. Kicking to the near side of the field. I'm looking to get it to just travel the 10 metres, which it has, as New Zealand has touched it. And Australia now in possession of the ball. 40 metres out from the Kiwi line. Wide cut our pass from Wallace Charlie. He's got a very strong step on him as well. I think New Zealand will have to keep an eye out for Henry Hutchinson taking that ball, the captain of the Australians, trying to bust through the defensive line. But 3 New Zealanders making the tackle there. They are going to be penalised for not rolling away. Possibly quite a strategic penalty to give away, as they did have a few men tied up in that breakdown. Maurice Longbottom popping it back on the inside. Charlie now going to Dietrich Roach. Back to Maurice Longbottom. Not going too far forward at the moment for Australia, but just looking to find that gap in the New Zealand defence. Josh Turner pops it back to Henry Hutchinson. Attacking pass goes across to Wallace Charlie. He steps around. He is a very dangerous player, and he is dragged down 5 metres out. Oh, that's a really ugly clean out in the breakdown. They look like maybe Henry Hutchinson hurt himself as well as one of the New Zealanders with that clean out. Coming in from a long way back. Now, Dietrich Roach pops it on the inside. Chance here just short of the try line, but Jaden Blake gets the offload up to Maurice Longbottom, who looks like he's really hurt his knee. Look like an awkward chopping tackle from New Zealand. Hopefully he's going to be all right, as he is one that they will definitely want to have throughout this contest, but he looks like he's in all sorts of pain here. We're going to see the replay. We're seeing there both young players getting involved early for the Australians. We're going to see the replay now. Yeah, it's just the tackle attempt from Dylan Collier as he went to cut back inwards. You've had the double blow of the whistle here. Are they going to be checking this to see if there was something more cynical perhaps going involved? Will the Aussie men avenge the women? Spoilers, no. Might have actually been just in the process of landing for Maurice Longbottom, but the conversion has missed away to the side, making the score now 5-0. Looks like Maurice is going to try and run it off. At 113 series tries throughout his career. We'll try Australia, says Suck there, and also we have got the Ashes Cup final. It certainly is. Seems to be a good match, says Mashihu. Yeah, starting off in a great way for the Australians. It looks like Longbottom is not going to continue in this game. Instead, McGregor making his way off of the bench. Don't recall any games ending in a draw. Going into overtime this tournament, that's rare, says Rory. Yeah, I guess with less teams, it means less matches in a way, so less chance of those draws. But no, we've seen a couple more one-sided affairs rather than any sort of close matches. Hopefully, well, to be fair, we've had a lot of games slip by less than 7, just no draws. Aussies on the board, says Ruth. It was in the 3rd and 4th playoff. It was Fiji versus France, and Fiji able to get themselves to win. South Africa, they did finish 5th as they were able to beat the Spanish in their 5th place playoff game. And we have got the Aussie Outback Kangaroos. A big collision there. Frank Vainuku taking a big shot. Now, back across to the left-hand side. New Zealand will want to fire straight back here after conceding in the early stages of the contest. I think I missed a couple messages too. The All Black Sevens will get so much inspiration from the women's win. And also find Sevens hard to predict. Absolutely. It's pretty much a lottery. In terms of who's going to be able to win it. Henry Hutchinson getting in the breakdown. Can't get the steal. Akulia Roka Lesoa moving it away to the left-hand side for the Kiwis. Frank Vainuku, big bump off of Charlie. Come on, New Zealand hit back. There's Jasmine there. Now Roka Lesoa again goes back across to Brady Rush. Sadly, his brother Rob ended up with an injury in the last match of the Sevens for New Zealand. They actually had about a 5-minute stoppage. Well, they did take him off the field on the stretcher. Now Akulia Roka Lesoa going back across again. Tony Nashu pops it on. They are just stagnant at the moment for New Zealand as well. I think it's down to the defence of both of these two sides knowing each other so well, of playing each other earlier on in the competition as well as just in general, but now running down the wing. It's going to be Naitoa Tipo, tackled low. Oh, it didn't seem like a very legal way of joining that breakdown from Jaden Blake, but it's going to lead to the try for New Zealand. Dylan Collier jogs it in. I think they have had it cleared. And it is going to make the score now 5 points to 5. Dylan Collier gets himself another one. That is try number 85 for that man. And awesome work at the ruck by both teams there, says Rory. And come on, New Zealand, says Helen. It's an interesting one at the moment in the commentary box. They've got Carl Tanana, and also it is the Australian commentator whose name is just left my head. Are we having to Cody Vi? Not too sure, actually. I thought that he went to another... Did he go to Rugby League? Maybe Cody Vi, or was it Rugby Union that he ended up going to? A very, very spicy game, says Jasmine. And no problem, Sean, says Rory. And there too, and also we have got the New Zealand try from Purple. So just putting his boot back on at the moment for Natoa Tipo. And coming the All Blacks, says Abdul in there. Now 3 minutes remaining in this first half. Time has been turned back on. Now this one out by the sideline. Not an easy kick. He's going to give it a fair old crack. The Aussie commentator is so excitable. It really annoys me that I can't think of his name. Is it Ross Maloney? No, not too sure. But that is a great kick from the sideline. Managing to get the score up to 7 points to 5. And 5-7, says Suck there. Now bouncing awkwardly there, the ball now passed across to the right-hand side. Frank Vainuku is back across. Suck has got the spoiler there, as we have not seen that try yet, if there is one. So be sure not to put too many spoilers in, but it is Tony Nashu. Does run the short side, missed tackle from Wallace Charlie. And then passes it back across. Oh, Tony Nashu may have hurt himself in the process. Akulia Roka Lesoa looks like he was limping as well. 2 minutes remaining here in this first half. New Zealand now move up to 12 points to 5 in their favour. 1 second, we'll go like that. We will update that on the clock. But a nice step from Tony Nashu. He knew that his legs just didn't quite have enough left in it. A missed tackle from Wallace Charlie. He tried to slide into it, and that doesn't work out there on the field. It's nice to see Australia playing good sevens again, says Sean Lees, and well done the All Blacks, keep it up. Good work, says Abdul. And great New Zealand try, says Rory. And yeah, it was well done by Tony Nashu to know that he was going to maybe not quite have the legs to keep on going. Akulia Roka Lesoa, he scores try number 95 for himself. And keep it up, New Zealand, says Helen. 1 second, we're going to go like this. And I like that as well. It is kicked off, nicely taken by Aiden Akanayaki. And off to the left-hand side, Charlie. Now long bottom. Is not going to be making his way back out, so his replacement, McGregor. It's the collision. New Zealand trying to get in the breakdown, and they will give away the penalty. Australia now have the opportunity to go either towards the touchline or just go for the tap here. Looks like they haven't got any intention of kicking towards the sideline. Instead, Josh Turner will go for the quick tap. This is the first time these teams have met and the final, it just said, for quite some time. Now going off to the right, ball on the inside. It's going to be Aiden Akaniaki. He will be in a foot race. Everyone's feeling the fatigue at the moment, and he is going to be dragged down just short of the try line. Put into touch. Sean Maloney, that's the one. I can't remember what I called him. I called him Ross Maloney, didn't I? We have got there. We need a win. Tonight, the All Blacks, says Abdul, and also evening game, says Joss. Yeah, hopefully you are doing very well. We're up to the last match of the Sevens of this tournament, but we have got the other one coming up just around the corner for the Cape Town Sevens. Hamish, in your opinion, who was the best ever Sevens player? Honestly, it would be too hard to choose. I couldn't even tell you the best New Zealand Sevens player, let alone the whole world, as I am way too indecisive. They are just saying no try, as he was in touch. Kanayaki. It was a great run down the wing initially, though, having to run about 60 metres to get towards the corner, but that was brilliant work from Brady Rush, never giving up on the chase. Most people would have, but he knew how important it was to make that tackle. Luciano Gonzalez is incredible. He absolutely is. And when you're looking at Argentine players, someone like a Marcos Moneta also comes to mind. And Sarevi. And come on, New Zealand, please. Says Suck there. And also nice try, save and tackle. There's Jasmine. And there as well. But now line out throw for Akulia Roca Lesoa. Nicely done by the Kiwis, as they will just wait for this ball to be available to be able to kick it into touch. Or will they? Oh, no. They've got themselves the penalty advantage here for offside. A nice Brady Rush. Says Allen. Oh, they wanted to take the quick tap, but not on the mark. Now taking it at Akulia Roca Lesoa. This is a tactic we've seen from New Zealand before. Sometimes it backfires, but sometimes it does work out very nicely for them. In this case, looking to try and keep this half alive. And player of the match, Rush. Honestly, player of the tournament for New Zealand. Brady Rush has got to be right up there. He was brilliant in the last match up against the Fijians as well. Tony Nashu. Now tackle 40 metres out from the Kiwi line. New Zealand should end the half, says Rory. It's something that they've done before, and they have ended up conceding a try before. Oh, big knock on from New Zealand. And now Australia, no, they will get themselves the penalty, though. New Zealand going back for it. Double blow of the whistle from George Selwood. We're going to see maybe a yellow card here. The Australians, they are going to be checking it. And Ryder was a flash in the pan. Nothing on Sarevi. Says Dame there. And also Sarevi was awesome, but Ryder as well. What happened to Ryder? And also Sarevi was the GOAT of Sevens Rugby. Oh, that's a weird collision there. Looked like Jaden Blake was going for the ball. He was quite late arriving. Commentators both saying there is nothing in it. We're going to see the replay now. So the ball is picked up. I mean, they could argue that he needed to try and half by pull out, as he wasn't going to win that challenge of the ball. But at the same time, I don't know. This is going to be interesting what they rule this. Okay, there's no clear head contact. No clear foul play, so it is going to be play on. Okay, George Selwood has said he stopped the game for foul play. Australia were in possession, so it sounds like it is going to be their ball. Unsurprised, looked like head contact to me. And Australian commentators, one of them is, and then the other is Carl Tanana. Right, it is actually going to be half time in this scenario. Oh, wow. Okay, they've had to mute the referee's mic because Henry Hutchison, I think, was just dropping a few F-bombs. And he is not happy about that decision. He feels like his side should have ended up with the ball, as they were in possession at the time when they did end up going back and ruling it as a potential foul play. I'm surprised. Looked like he contacted me, says Rory. I'm actually going to go back and just have another quick wee look at this, just to see exactly what the play... So they said there wasn't clear head contact. Oh, yeah, no, that's not good. So Australia were on the counter-attack, and they went back for the penalty to New Zealand. They actually would have scored down the wing, Australia, had that been play on. Dylan Hartley got red carded in the cup final one time. Swearing at the ref, says Big Rig. Yeah, I assume that because he's Henry Hutchison and he is the captain of Australia, they have maybe given him a little bit of leniency there, but you've got to be very careful with how you talk to a referee. Definitely in this type of matchup, you're not going to make him want to give you any penalties, but that should have been an Australian try. Looking at the replay and the fact that they did say there was no foul play, Australia were actually only about 10 metres out from scoring. Dylan Hartley was the captain, says Big Rig. Was that for Northampton? maybe. I can't even remember who that was for. I think New Zealand will win, says Azaria. And right before halftime too, Erie, says Big Rig. Yeah, a big moment in this game and a big shaping moment because that could have got Australia back to 12-12 heading into the second half. These moments can turn the game. It absolutely can. And I think that was what Henry Hutchinson was trying to say, how because it was ruled as no foul play, that Australia should have got the restart, but because it was after the halftime siren, it was ruled as halftime. And now a 7-point matchup at the moment between these two sides. New Zealand will be kicking this one off from left to right. Get back underway. Yeah, Northampton versus Leicester. And who do you think will win? I think that moment there will probably give New Zealand the momentum. Australia will be frustrated. That could also end up working in their favour, that they feel like they're being hard done by here. Maybe that gets them to that next level. But now Wallace Charlie, side of the 22, goes across there. Henry Hutchinson puts in the fend on Tony Nashu. Time at the moment. We are just starting the second half. So 7 minutes remaining on the clock. Northampton didn't recover and they got crushed. Says Big Rig Joe. Now another step there. Josh Turner turning the defence inside out. Puts the ball on the inside. Big collision there for Jaden Blake. Quick half time. Yeah, it was very fast. Only felt like 60 seconds. And now Wallace Charlie. It's across to Aiden Akanagaki. Ball to Hutchinson. You can see the feeling of the players, how much they are fatigued. What team do you support by Rugby? Believe it or not, I don't actually really have a team. We've covered that many games on the channel that I've almost become impartial pretty much all around the world for different sides. So, you know, if there's any sort of decisions that seem a little bit rough, we will let you know. But, yeah, I just love watching the game in general. Another penalty, this time going the way of the Australians for not rolling away against New Zealand. Not just the points, the cash makes a big difference, says DJ. And Australia should score first in the second, otherwise New Zealand would take this one, says Sean. Now passed out to Henry Hutchinson. So far it's been good defence from New Zealand, not allowing the Aussies through. Charlie does take that one, and that's going to be a knock-on from Australia at the worst possible time as New Zealand now get themselves the counter-attacking opportunity. Running up the middle, Sione Molia. This will be a try, and that could be the momentum shifter that the Kiwis needed again. Australia having some good position at the start of the half. Sione Molia, he is also limping after scoring that one. The try-saving tackle in the first up by New Zealand sealed this one, in my opinion, says Rory. And then New Zealand tried. Says Azaria, managing to get themselves the try. It was Dylan Collier. Almost looked like, was that a foot trip from Jaden Blake? Surely not. But then Sione Molia going through the middle. That's Dame set match. There's Damo. And that could be the game. Certainly could be. Just 5 minutes now left on the clock for Australia to try and get back into the contest. Oh, time is off here. And that number 18 who tried, says Azaria. So yeah, Sione Molia, the man who did score it. New Zealand haven't won a cup title since Singapore 2024, failing to make a final last season. So this has been a long time coming for the Kiwis. If they are able to get over the line, it would be the double gold for the men and the women's side for New Zealand. And people who know Hamish know what teams he likes. Says Robert, and chasing New Zealand in a final is near impossible. And 19 points to 5, says Sick. And there as well. I'm glad that you at least waited for that one. You did make sure that you didn't give a spoiler in that regard. It is greatly appreciated. Update your scoreboard. 1 second. I'll shake me mouse and it should do it. There we go. Now the penalty going the way of Australia again. Still 4 minutes remaining. We're going to see one of the X Factor impact players in there, William Cartwright, out there on the field. He managed to score 2 tries in that game up against France. Actually, the only 2 tries in that semi-final. The women also won. They certainly did. A good win over the Australians by 15 points. Normally they are a little bit closer on the scoreboard for Australia versus New Zealand matches, but not in that case. Now, some nice stepping from McGregor. Hutchinson goes across now into the hands of Josh Turner. I think that, he's almost through. Yes, he is. Cutting through Turner, but doesn't quite have the pace to be able to get away from the New Zealand defence, but a big wide cutout pass. Dietrich Roach, one more pass, and it is the impact player off the bench, William Cartwright. Gets himself another one here. He has had quite the tournament in Dubai. Like they said, first ever tournament, his 3rd try, and all of them have been in playoff rugby matches. Australia's going to score still 5-12 now. The score is 19-10. A great try by Australia needed, says Rory. And has anyone seen 3 tries in 5 minutes, says Jonathan. I mean, that is Sevens pretty much summed up. Quick fire tries always happening. And normally it only takes one. Oh, that's a rough kick. So the score is going to be 19 points to 10. I know, come on, New Zealand. And who did New Zealand play in the women's final? They actually played Australia. So they ended up going head-to-head, the Australian women and New Zealand, and then the same in the men's. And come on, New Zealand. Says Suck there too, and there they try again. Says Azaria, now another offload chance for Australia in the corner. They will score again. And get over you a little bit too early with that one, Azaria. Be sure not to go with too many spoilers, but Harry Wilson, the man who does manage to score it there, his first ever try for the Australians, are coming at the best possible time. It's the young players here for the Aussies that are stepping up and creating opportunities for their side to somehow win this game. But again, it's not going to be the easiest kick. Had Australia got all their kicks over, they would be leading this one 21 points to 19. Harry Wilson scoring the try. Now from the sideline, that kick does miss again. And also 19 points to 15, says Sook in there. And bless you, Hamish, says Ruth. And also we have got their nose, says Helen. And there as well. But currently, there is 2 minutes remaining on the clock. 4-point game, 2 minutes left. Yeah, anyone's to take. Oh, great take, though, from New Zealand. Under the high ball, off the bench. That was the youngster, Riley Williams. New Zealand, they still feel maybe that they've got one more try in the tank. Going back across to the left-hand side. 90 seconds remaining. Can't quite get through. Do you see that Lasung has also, I believe, made his way onto the field. Passed out wide for New Zealand. And now breaking through the line. This is going to be the try that should win the game for the Kiwis. The hand in the air from Jaden Keelan. And scores it now. And he has fired up the youngster. This final has actually almost felt like a little bit of a passing of the torch for both of these sides. There's actually been the younger players who have only recently made their way onto the circuit that are actually scoring the tries. Missed conversions. Try New Zealand, says Rory. And New Zealand try, says Purple. And hardly any conversions today, man. There were hardly any yesterday too. It seems to be that everyone is missing those ones. He ran round a little bit there, the youngster Keelan, so I think made the kick a slightly easier one for New Zealand. And this one has gone over 26 points to 15 now in favour of the Kiwis. And the last time that both the men and the women's sides won in the same tournament was Singapore back in 2024, which I believe was actually New Zealand's last win for a gold medal. And that should seal it for New Zealand, 15 points to 26. Says Suck there. Now just the 10 seconds remaining on the clock. Stepping back inwards, thought about the offload for Aiden Akaniaki, but it's Australian side. It was a valiant effort in getting those comeback tries in the middle of the game. And while the All Blacks says Abdul, and there as well. Now passed on the outside, good. Bit of handling from Australia, but they move up to the halfway line. They do not have the opportunity to win this game, but they still want to get themselves one last try. Make the scoreline look a little bit better than New Zealand women's side. They won by 15. Currently Australia, they are down by the 11 points. Hutchinson protecting that ball for Australia once more. Thanks, NZ, says Suck in there, and great men and men and women today champions, says Ruth. Oh, big collision there for Ethan McFarland. Trying to get the steal and the breakdown, but penalised as Williams. Looks like New Zealand got this on to Cape Town next week. Hopefully the Blitzbox can do better, says Schwed. Yeah, hopefully they get a slightly better group. You know, that was definitely the pool of death out of the two groupings, and it'd be great to see them make it through to the semi-final of their competition. Normally Cape Town is a shortened leg, but not in this case. It is just the same as the rest. I don't get that. New Zealand men's and women's won Hong Kong consecutive years. Here's Dame set match. But now, nicely charging forward. The Aussies moving inside of the Kiwi 22. Drop ball from Hutchinson. It went backwards. There's going to be play on. Offloads on the inside to Cartwright. That was a little bit too high from Lasanga. Could have been the advantage. Now breaking through. And he's going to be held up. Wilson gets it down eventually. And thanks for all the games you covered this weekend in Hano too. Says DJ there. But yeah, there's been plenty of them. Next weekend it is just as hectic. The only difference is we won't have an international Springbok fixture alongside it. New Zealand are well into both men and women. We're going to show it here. Harry Wilson initially was held up by Lasanga, but then gets the grounding afterwards. So I think this one might be ruled as a try. All right, they will say award the try. So Australia do get themselves the consolation. Actually, exactly what the women's side for Australia did as well. This is going to make the score a little bit more respectable. If this kick goes over, it will be actually very similar to what we saw in the group stage, which was the fact that New Zealand were able to beat the Australians by a thin margin. It came down to kicks in that performance as well. At the end of the day, Australia, they have got enough try-scoring ability, but they just haven't been able to convert anything throughout the game. They scored 4 tries. They scored the same amount as New Zealand, but it was the kicking that did let them down. 22 points to 6, though, the full-time score. And New Zealand, and I should mention New Zealand men and women, both getting themselves the gold medals. Have a good sleep, Hamish. Here's Rory. And once again, great commentary, Hamish. Thanks very much. Says sweet, no worries at all. And I'll have a great week all. Says Big Rick, yeah, we will be back midweek for that Rugby World Cup draw that is taking place Wednesday night, New Zealand time, 10 p.m. We will either be starting 30 minutes or 60 minutes beforehand, but I'll get that one scheduled during the day. And nonetheless, do thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all for the next one.